Welcome in. This is Hype Factor, a Fantasy Critic podcast for all the Fantasy Critic enthusiasts out there who just can't get enough talking about Fantasy Critic. I am one of your co-hosts, John, aka John32, and I am joined by my good friend Marcus. How are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing pretty good, John. I have just recently rolled credits on Fantasy Critic Darling,
Hmm?
Consume Me. I
Oh,
played through Consume Me. I know I had originally, when we originally talked about this game, I wasn't super into it. I kind of changed my mind. Everybody was so hyped on this game, and then everybody was so angry that it didn't score quite as high as what we were expecting it to. I'm here to say, I think 80. I think it's sitting at an 82 right now. It's a little low. It's a little low. This is a
interesting.
very good game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna talk about Consuming a little later in the show, so I'm looking forward to getting your thoughts on it. And let's get things rolling. This is episode 13 of Hype Factor, and today we have a very special guest joining us. I am pleased to introduce someone extremely knowledgeable in the Fantasy Critic communities, someone that many of you listening may recognize around the Fantasy Critic Discord, and that is our good friend Dan. Dan from Canada. Dan, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Yes, thanks for having me. It's gonna be a fun time.
Yeah. Thank you so much. This is going to be great. Like, I know that we've interacted a little bit on Discord. This is our first time kind of getting into it, and we wanted to bring in someone knowledgeable because our subject this month is going to be chatting with you about Fantasy Critic and some special elements that some people may be less familiar with, including Critics Royale and the Super League.
Mhm.
So, without further ado, let's jump in to the topic of the month.
Topic of the month.
So, Dan, welcome. Formally welcome to Hype Factor. Again, we appreciate you joining us, and thank you for sticking around for the whole episode. That's going to be a lot of fun. Um,
Yeah, for sure. I'm looking forward to chatting about that.
yeah, I
Everything
mean,
on the on
let's
the on the
let's
docket looks good.
let's start at the beginning because some of our guests to date have either been on podcasts or run podcasts. Um, uh, let's start talking about and yourself and your gaming history a little bit. Let's start at the beginning. What does your gaming
Mhm.
journey look like? Over the years? Like, where did you start? What are you into? And then maybe we'll pivot into talking a little bit about how you got started with Fantasy Critic.
For sure. I should. I guess I should start from the beginning. Like a disclaimer: this is my first podcast
Nice.
ever. So that's where we're at right now. So I've always been like more of a casual gamer. Especially like growing up, I was like mostly like Nintendo, like anything first party Nintendo, first party PlayStation. I would usually get every Mario game, Zelda game, your like Ratchet and Clanks, those kind of games. And
Mhm.
then I kind of went to university and kind of didn't play as much during university because I didn't know what podcasts were. And I'm like so like thankful I didn't discover podcasts until like I started my full time job really in like 2014 or so. So once I started podcasts, I was like, whoa, like you just like I don't know what it is about like your brain just like thinks about video games way more when you listen to podcasts about video games and you find these like niche audiences. So then I bought a Wii U and I was really hyped. I was like, which is a weird concept to get really back into games with Wii U, but Wii U was like a
Brought you
great
back
spot to
in.
like play, yeah, playing all these like virtual console games and going through all these series. And then that led to the Switch hype, and I followed like every rumor of that, and I played every like Breath of the Wild like crazy, like most people did. And then you eventually like, okay, maybe the Nintendo releases kind of dry up a little bit, so you get into the let's buy a PS4. I haven't bought a PS4. It's been like 6 or 7 years since it came out. Like I haven't played one of those. So I played that a lot, and I was like getting more and more into like the not just Nintendo realm, and then I learned about Fantasy Critic through the Easy Allies podcast in
Hmm.
about 2019. They started that. They did their first season, and I was like, oh, that seems because I like sports and I've followed sports for a long time, so I was like, okay, well, this is my perfect wheelhouse. And especially, I was losing in all my fantasy sports leagues. So I was like, what can I do? I know when Steve was on your podcast earlier with with when the creator of Fantasy Critic was on, and he said he started Fantasy Critic to like beat everyone at something, and now he's slowly realizing, oh, okay, this is pretty difficult now because there's so much competition. But so I started that. I convinced my friends to start a league in 2020, and then COVID happened. So there was like, okay, even more interest and focus on video games. I had my first kid in 2020, so it was just like, okay, I'm at home with COVID everywhere, like video games. So Fantasy Critic and all that combined at the same time to like really spark an interest and obsession, I should say.
A healthy obsession. That is
Yes, 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 yes.
That is like very parallel to some of like if I were describing my journey, it sounds very similar. That is
I was going to
eerily
say,
similar.
John, yeah, it does sound a lot like yours, right?
That's like almost to a T, including PlayStation. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and even in the first season of Fantasy Critic, it was like you learn like I don't know PC gaming at all. Like what is Crusaders Kings? Like what is Desperado? I'm like I don't even know what these things are, and then
Yeah.
like so like you learn all these lessons and that kind of thing. So
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah, no, the edification that is podcasts. Great.
So, Dan, we play in a league together in Dave Jackson's Tales from the Backlog
hmm
league. I've referred to this league kind of maybe cryptically. This is a pretty deep league. Like I think
yeah, yeah.
there's 16 of us, but rather large rosters. I think it's
hmm
rather restrictive into the types of games that are available. So, anyways, it's quite competitive, and I'm in first place, but only for the moment. You are
hmm
poised to pass me in the coming weeks here.
I hope so.
I'm fairly confident
I
you're.
think your roster's done, but I
Yeah,
have that. I think I'll pass you, but then there's that Europa. I can't even say it. Europa Universalis 5. That I'm like, this game could be negative points. I don't even know.
yeah.
PC gaming, like I said, not my specialty, so I'm kind of nervous about it. But that league is like, especially I should mention, like part of the gaming journey, like this Tales from the Backlog. I joined about a year ago, and it's just like I love it there, and just like I've been doing my kind of like my own backlog
Mm,
challenges myself, like over the last couple of years. Like I've done one year, I did all the Remedy games. I did. Then the next year I did all the Halo. I never owned an Xbox until like 2020, so I did like all the Halo game campaigns, and I did Metal Gear Solid, all those games. And so I've been doing like these like backlog challenges for myself, and then this Tales from the Backlog. They have their own backlog resolutions list every year, and I've been doing that all year, and it's been maybe I've learned some lessons this year. Maybe don't put too many games on there because I'm like, kind of like I got to do it. I got to complete this list, but.
yeah.
Yeah, but it's been a fun journey, and then the fantasy critic, there's a lot of smart players there, a lot of like really deep indie picks that are they're like oof. And I've
Definitely.
never played in a league that was that had unlimited drops, so
Hmm.
it's like really weird. Like oh, I can just if I don't like it, I feel different about. I can just get rid of this. That's a
I think
weird
that was
feeling.
my. I
So
think that was my doing. I think I
okay,
pushed for that. Yeah, I really like that when you can
Mm,
have unlimited drops. Are you in any
yeah,
other leagues, Dan? How many others do you play
yes.
in?
So I'm in total of 4 leagues. One is a like a just a like a full counter league, which is like you just do the draft. You draft your whole team. It's about like I think we do like 10 maybe slots, and then you counter 10 games as well. So it's just like you try and be positive by the end of the year. So that league is fun because you get all these really deep picks in January, and then
Yep.
you don't have to think about it at all. So it's like set and forget. Don't have to worry about it. So that league's pretty fun. But like you look back on the year like what was I thinking like countering like certain games, and so that's pretty humbling a lot of the time. I'm in my main league, that the one I started in 2020 with my friends, who is pretty. It's pretty casual now. We've already switched to like I've tried to do public bidding to kind of encourage engagement. Didn't really go. So this current year, we're doing our first time. We're doing like no pickups, just like 3 drafts in the year. Just doing like okay, January we do draft four games, do one counter. In March we do like four pickups and one counter, and then after the whatever fake E3 or we call that Summer Games Fest, do another 4 games and one counter, and that's it, kind of thing. So that's like that one's pretty good, but it's kind of like out of your hands when you just do.
Right.
There's no pickup, so you're kind of like ah. And then I am in the Tales from Backlog. That's 3, and then my final league is the Super League, which I can plug now, or we can plug that later. But that's the hardcore of the hardcore. That's like that's where the real fantasy critic sickos go for their fix. So if anyone listening is looking for some tough competition, we can talk about that, and I'll recruit you hopefully by the end of this podcast.
Oh, well, we're gonna talk about it. That's for sure. We're gonna get into the weeds of Super League. I just quickly on that last point of the idea of just 3 drafts, no pickups. We were talking to Sean Capri on the last episode and talking about community engagement and how to keep uh, um, members of a community, especially when it's more casual in terms of engagement, more involved. That's a great
Mhm.
setup for that type of audience where, people like the act of drafting, they like the act of getting
Yeah,
together and
exactly.
shit talking each other a little bit. And so that kind of provides that opportunity and it kind of sets a level playing field. It's really interesting. I'd be curious to hear more about that in the future because I think that's something that more discords or more communities might be interested in adopting, because I think it does lend itself to that kind of community vibe, which is very cool.
Mhm.
But maybe before we talk about Super League and some other interesting elements, how is what surprised you maybe or disappointed you in the season so far? Whether that's for your own team or things that you've observed, like just games generally, like so far this season.
So for this year, I did this before. I did this in 2023. Same thing, where my first overall pick is the wrong choice, and
Mm.
I do it across every league, and it puts me out of the running for like if I just picked something normal or safe, then I would have won all my leagues. But instead of like nope, so I was a victim of the unannounced 3D Mario game
Oh
Mm.
no.
that I was like, there's no way they're gonna miss this 40th anniversary. It's been like how many? It's been like 8 years since Mario Odyssey. If there's a Donkey Kong game, like it'll be like Mario plus Donkey Kong. There's no way they're gonna do like a main Donkey Kong game.
Hmm.
And I should have just taken like the easy 18 Monster Hunter points or whatever I could have done, anything other than what I did. So that's been disappointing. And I still think it's kind of weird that they released like the Mario Galaxy package. That was like their main anniversary thing. I'm like, come on, when you could have easily released this 5 years ago when they did the
Yeah.
3D Mario collection. So still bitter about that. But what are some other surprises? Clear Obscure, I think even people that were optimistic on that, I don't think anyone thought it was going to be 92.
Yep.
Um, what else? Mina the Hollower, I still think it was a risky pickup at draft, honestly. Like, Yacht Club has been very notorious for not really having a tight deadline, but I always thought, like, once someone announces a date after that many years, it's coming out, you know?
Mhm.
And then they get the delay for the polish and that kind of stuff. So that was a little surprising. And I think that's it. Yeah,
Yeah.
off the top of my head.
Those are good ones. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
All very much surprising and or disappointing for the season. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I guess the other question, because you talked a little bit about your journey in gaming and kind of where it's brought you, have you noticed, has Fantasy Critic, I guess, changed the way you enjoy or approach video games at all? It's obviously something you've started later in your video game journey. Has it shaped like the types of games you play, how you approach them?
I don't know if it's changed it dramatically. Like I definitely find more indie games. I was into indie games kind of even before the Fantasy Critic, but I really like have honed in on a lot of them. It's been fun to kind of see like people in the Fantasy Critic Discord find these games before like anyone else. That's what I like when it's like, oh yeah, like we feel like we're like tastemakers. We're actual like publishers. Like I know it's a funny name in the Fantasy Critic to be like, oh yeah, we're a publisher, but like we actually feel like publishers. Like finding these games and like rooting them on and that kind of thing. And I definitely won't lie though, like when there's a game that like does a little worse than you expect, it definitely, even if it's like it's up your alley, you're like, it only got me like 6 points.
Yep.
Yeah,
Do I really want to play this right now? Like,
yeah.
or like even like something like the Plucky Squire, where you're like this, I thought this was going to be like a 90. You're like,
Hmm.
what did it get? It got an 80. You're like, I don't need to play that right now. Day one, like I still haven't played it. That kind of thing. So it definitely can take the wind out of your sails a little bit. But like, there's also like on the other side, like I remember like in 2022, like drafting Neon White like really early, like in January, and be like, I believe in this game based on this one trailer, and like just like watching it like just like blow up and be an amazing game. Or I haven't even played Citizen Sleeper yet, but the same thing where like or Chicory, like finding these games like extremely early and then see them blow up, you're like, it makes you like them even more a little bit when you're like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, I got that, and like
Well, you follow
so
their
I don't know.
journey, right? Like it's like you're,
Yeah,
unlike what our shared history is of just like jumping into the thing that's right in front of you and the big thing that's, shiny thing that's right in front of us. Like being able to follow the journey of some of these games and follow them over years in some cases and seeing them like finally get to release and finally, reach such a broad audience. And I think Marcus and I have both seen this too, like just from different communities where people aren't familiar with like what the heck is blueprints, right? And then all of a sudden it
yeah,
hits and it just like changes the landscape. And like I even heard major outlets, like big outlets that you can probably think of on the tip of your tongue, uh
uh,
that were like not knowing what these games were, and it's like we've been following them since January now, mostly because of Marcus, but
Yeah.
like they were, we've been following them for months, and that's there's something to that as well, just to watch them kind of blossom. So yeah.
I like that like fantasy critic community is like not too big. It's still pretty small, but like I definitely someone could like really harness like this brain power that we have there and just like you could be using this for some like nefarious things or
Yeah.
not necessarily nefarious, but just like you should be really bumping this up and like these people believe in these things and they know when they're going to be a big hit and they can pop off and or when something's not like they have all the red flags and people don't really know about these red flags yet. So
Yeah,
yeah.
crowdsourced intel,
Yeah,
Yeah.
or even the release calendar. Like this is the
Mhm.
best release calendar in all the internet, and like
I've
no one really knows about it
Yeah.
other than like us. Really,
Yeah.
like I know Game Informer has like a release calendar that gets brought up a lot, and I'm like this our fantasy critic is like boom, like everything there, like and that's a credit to like everyone there, like Todd Coward especially. He's really on top of that and fantasy critic and elite and all them. So it's great.
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
said I mean, I know I've said that as well. Like I use it as my release calendar to see what's coming and when, and it's
Mm-hmm.
probably the most reliable. And, people will harp, or even Steve will harp on his own UI, but it's pretty clean and clear cut because every time,
Mm-hmm.
they don't have to deal with all the ads and crap that I get on the major outlet sites. So
Yeah.
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 Yeah, that's why I hope it doesn't change. I know, things don't last forever, so you gotta like expect some change. And even like with the Open Critic, I'm always worried about the Open Critic like owners and what the connection there is. But even if something happened there, I feel like the community would figure out something clever in Excel or
For
something. So
sure. For sure.
Okay, well, let's transition to kind of the reason that we had originally thought about bringing you on, Dan, is talking a little bit about Critics Royale. So, Critics Royale, just broadly speaking, is another way to play Fantasy Critic. And I'll admit, I don't know very much about it at all. I had wanted to do a little bit of research ahead of time, I lost track of time. So, I didn't really even get to do it. But I know it's like a quarterly game where you're bidding dollars and can you kind of like lay it all out for us?
for sure, yeah. So first of all, it's Critics Royale is like a perfect for anyone that is like there's a little bit of a downside in your season and you're kind of just like looking trying to find something to keep you engaged but you're only in one league and you kind of want to do more or you're doing really badly in one of your leagues you're like I gotta have some hope somewhere or something or find a victory somewhere or you're doing really really well and like your league is not really doing that well. So yeah, so it's a quarterly thing. I think it opens up 2 weeks before the quarter. So say for example like 2 weeks before April 1st you can start picking up games. You get a budget of $100, and then you try and basically maximize the amount of points you get with that $100. There's a limit of 25 games you can get, and every game has a price, and it's mostly based on the hype factor. I don't actually know the exact um, algorithm that Steve's using. I'm assuming it's just hype factor because I know, for example, for when a game is countered a lot, like the price goes lower and it goes to like $2 or something like that. So and there's also like a marketing budget that um, it basically you can like inflate your score a little bit if you really believe in a game. But I'll be honest, it needs work.
Mm.
There's gonna actually I should say that there's gonna be like a Critic Royale summit. That's I think in a couple weeks. I don't know the exact date. It's in the Fantasy Critic Discord. I think Elite made an event where we're gonna get together and just kind of rehash a lot of the rules and think about some of this stuff. Because I think Critics Royale's kind of been kind of in the background a little bit. It's always been kind of there, but not really under the spotlight. But I think recently we finally have a Discord channel on Critics Royale, so people are kind of like, okay, this is more front and center if you come here. And also, there's a budding rivalry now going on with one of the players who's been winning a lot recently, Derek.
Hmm.
So I think there's more attention to this now, and I think now is a good time to like jump in. And if you're interested in this, like this is a good time because they're going to be thinking of some new rules, changing some things, and then starting fresh in the new year. I think would be a good time. But I think you should dip your toes in now and get a feel for it. Like I don't think it's going to change drastically, but yeah, it's a fun little game to play.
So I just want to make sure that I'm kind of understanding. So you said you sign up for Critics Royale. You're playing against everybody else. There's not like specific leagues. It's just everybody who's playing. Everybody plays
Yep.
Critics Royale together, right?
Yep.
You've got a budget, and you can start. And the games all have set prices. We don't
That's
know
right.
exactly how those prices are determined, but kind of maybe hype factor.
Roughly
related.
hype factor. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So presumably, like these GTA 6 is like got a really high number associated
Yeah,
with it.
yeah.
If it was coming out in that quarter.
Actually, maybe not because people would probably think it was delayed. So it got countered a lot. So I don't know what
Okay.
its price exactly would be because that becomes a factor.
Okay, so Monster Hunter Wilds in the quarter that it was coming out would have
Yeah,
been like one of the highest.
$25
Yeah.
probably, $20 or something
Okay.
like that.
Okay. And then and you've got $100 to fill out your roster of 25 games. You don't have to
Yeah.
do 25, presumably. You could probably do
Nope.
less if you want.
Yep. Yep.
Is there a time frame in which you have to have all of your games on your roster? Just by the end
No,
of the
you can
quarter?
you can pick up as many. You can pick up the whole quarter. You
Okay.
can do a bunch at the beginning. So that's one of the strategies is picking up as much as you can at the very beginning because as games get closer to the release date, you'll notice, and you talk about this when you do a rundown of the bids of the week
Mm-hmm.
or bids of the month or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
As you get closer to release, people start realizing that what this game is more and more, and so bids go up, hype factor
So the
goes up,
prices are
gets more
changing
expensive.
as they're.
Yeah, that's right, and I think it needs some work because I think sometimes, like, so say for example, there's a game in our Super League that no one really has, but it's like a hidden gem. Okay, so no one has it on the site, but then someone countered it. It instantly drops like $2, and it's like it's too much fluctuation when there's like not enough data to get this hype factor at the right level. So there might be some tweaking there, but I don't know if we want to get too into the weeds on that. But yeah, you have it right. Just like there's a strategy, and I think I mentioned like the marketing budget. Like one of the strategies, take your 3 or 4 big games of the quarter, put all your marketing budget on them, and that's it. But then you'll learn like the optimal strategies of these people that are winning. Almost always a full 25 game roster. It's a lot of like finding your hidden gems, finding your smaller games. Because the way I think about it, and like I looked at it's been running for like 5 years. And Todd used to clean up in Critics Royale, like back in the Todd Coward. He used to. Now he's kind of like, okay, I'll let the other kids play with the game, but I think he might come out of retirement for this current quarter. I think, but you can see how many people, like how many points it took to win. And roughly it was like on average, I just did quick average, roughly like maybe around 200 points to win.
Okay.
So if you think about that, that means you have $100 and you need to get to 200 points. Okay. So you want to be spending like basically you want to be getting at least 2 points per dollar.
Yeah. Right.
So that's the way I think about it. So say Metroid Prime 4, it's like $20. Are you really going to get like 40 plus points on this?
Yeah. Right.
Probably not. So like, it might look like a good deal, but you got to find those blueprints games. You got to find those kind of games. I find.
Yeah, but no one's watching. So the other thing that I guess differentiates it, I was reading about it on the site trying to because like Marcus, I've never played it, but to me it seems like the daily fantasy sports equivalent where everyone can have the same roster theoretically, right? I mean, they can have the same games on the roster. It might vary based on like when they pick up those games, because obviously, like you said, the price fluctuates, but you don't know that they have it on their roster until it's actually
that's right.
released. So it's kind of hidden. So it's not like you can see what everybody has, right? So it's kind of like a hidden thing until the game comes out, and then it's like, ta-da! This person actually had your arch nemesis actually had that same game you were hoping was a hidden gem. So I gotta imagine it adds to the drama. Am I right?
Yeah. There's the hidden stuff is definitely fun part of it, and you can kind of sometimes piece out like, okay, near the end of the quarter, there's like 2 big games left. This person has 2 games on their hidden, so you kind of figure it out. So, but there's another element here is the and this is going to get worked out in the summit. But you can drop games here too, and when you drop a game, you get half the budget back. So say you bought into Mina the Hollower, you paid your $18 or whatever, how much it was. I'm sure it was a lot of money, and you're like, it got delayed. You're like, oh crap. Okay, you can sell it, so you're not totally screwed. You can sell it and get $9 back. So it's still a penalty. It's still going to hurt you, but it's not the end of the game kind of thing for you. But what happens, and this is where we need to close this loophole, and I've been advocating for this for a while, but it'll finally get fixed, is you could drop a game. There was this, and I shouldn't even get into the weeds on this because it's going to get changed, but you could drop a game, like, say you go and open, the review embargo is at 10 a.m. You can go and open Critic and quickly see how are things looking. Oh crap, it's bad. go drop your game.
Right.
And like you shouldn't have been like what you couldn't pick up a game. You can't pick up a game unless it's been like I think if it's within 5 days of the release, you can't pick up a game.
Right.
Which is that's a decent rule. That's the way it should be, roughly. I think. Even though again, I could change that too because you can still pick up that game in your main league on like a Saturday night. If it comes out on Monday, you can still pick it up as long as there's no reviews. But you can't do it here.
Yeah.
But right now, you can weirdly drop a game even if it comes out like the next day. So that needs to be ironed out. But there is a meta to that is honestly doesn't come into play as much as it sounds like I am making it sound. But it's a thing. But it'll get ironed out for after the summit. So don't worry about that.
Well, I look forward to that. I mean, might be the time to jump in for real, Marcus. It might be an interesting time to kind of just go and see, especially once they're revised. That may be a good timing.
Will the next quarter start January? Is that?
Yeah, so you can start picking up games probably like December 20th or something like that. So we need to. I'm going to try and make sure we get a notification like for everyone in the Fantasy Critic that okay, the Royale is open. You can pick up your games. Like the prices don't change dramatically over like that 2 weeks that like you're probably fine. It's more like if you wait till like the end of the month or 2 months from then, the price might change a little bit. But what was I going to say? Yeah, it's just like a fun way to like kind of distract yourself and like learn about a couple of games. So, like what I would do is I filter by release date, like what's actually coming out this quarter.
Yeah, right.
And you might find all these games like I never even heard of this game, and it's like, oh, this sounds kind of cool. I'll take a chance on it because whatever. It's like, and then. Yeah, it's just. And I would target like anything that's like $4. Just go for it. Like I don't know. Like it's usually my rule of thumb, like $4 or so.
Which seems like a very different strategy than what you would do in like a regular league, where you're really trying to be maybe more meticulous, and you're competing with people for those hidden gems over the course of like a whole season, right?
I should say I've never won, so maybe this is not the best advice. I have come second a few times, and even this recent, and in 2 quarters ago, I should have won. I lost by like a point, and I thought I had the Duck Detective game. I even have it in my other leagues, so I know I like the game, and I thought I had it in my Royale, but you go too quickly sometimes with these things, and I ended up like not having it. So I was like, oh, I had to scramble, and I got that Ruffy in the Riverside, and it was like I could have used that 4 or 5 point difference that they had, and that was the quarter. So hopefully we get back there someday. But
and how many people are in the league? Like how many people are you competing against? Roughly?
So there's like,
are we talking like I think dozens, like hundreds,
maybe 100 people that do a Royale, but I think like actually take it seriously, like probably like 25, 30, if I had to guess, maybe 40.
Okay.
Like you usually see the same people near the top 20 kind of thing. I don't know. A lot of people you'll see at the beginning that are in first place right now, they probably grabbed like what was big this quarter, like Ghost of Yote. Like they would have probably got that, and they would have spent $20 on that, and like they don't really have that many, so they're ahead at the beginning,
right? And
then they kind of drop off because they spent all their money, kind of thing.
So,
don't stress over it too much. That's the key. Is like don't. I think keep yourself. Don't go crazy on this game. I think that's my advice.
Yeah, well, I love the way that you positioned it as like this is for people that are looking for something extra, right? Whether you're only in one league or you're at the top or you're at the bottom, like those people that are like it's not as competitive as they want it to be, and they just want to find another thing to supplement like what they're doing already in Fantasy Critic. It sounds like it's the right kind of mixture, and super interesting to me because it's a really different strategic overlay for the game, right? Like it's daily fantasy sports, but it's kind of more than that because it sounds like there's so much kind of going into the calculus of what to pick up, and very interesting. Are there from this season or even last? I mean, you mentioned Derek. I mean, we've seen the Discord. If anybody's been in there, it's always pretty happening. I mean, it's a very active Discord, I got to say. Any kind of highlights or drama that you want to share with the group at this point in time?
Well, I mentioned the not getting Duck Detective, so I'm still a little bit mad about that. And I lost on the last day because like now that we have this Open Critic Discord, that people can like submit reviews and like kind of get their games in there. So I know Derek got like, he found the right review on the last day, and it's like, and rightfully so. But it was just like, come on,
you're not bitter at all. It's fine.
No. He's doing great, and he's won 4 in a row, which is like
It's amazing.
full calendar year, and he's trying to win the Grand Slam where he went every quarter this
Wow.
2025. So
Okay.
there's Brad. I don't know if you know Brad on the Discord.
I'm familiar
He's
with
coming
Brad.
for him, and
Yeah.
he's like his arch nemesis. He's self declared. So it's really funny to see them, and I think that's pushing people to get engaged. Like, what is this
Yeah.
Royale? Like you said, that's why you guys noticed it more. So it's brought some attention to it, and it's pretty funny because Derek is just like quietly somewhere in the corner, just picking up games and just plugging away and doing great. And he says he has a strategy that he's keeping secret. So
Oh,
we got to know.
we got to
We got
tap
to
into
crack this
that.
code.
Yeah, we're gonna
Yeah,
have
we
to
got to
tap
figure
in.
it out.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was actually from the Fantasy Critic Discord that they had suggested this would be a great topic, and I don't think Marcus or I disagreed. It's a super
Yeah.
interesting space.
So tell us about the Super League, Dan. You've already mentioned it a little bit. What
Mm-hmm.
give us the lowdown on the Super League?
Okay, yeah. So there was on the Fantasy Critic Discord, there was just like an appetite for like, okay, there's a lot of sickos here that are really tuned in, that are coming in here like really really into it. So we got to find like a league for these people. And so we nailed that, like we narrowed it down to like we love like promotion and relegation in like European soccer is just like
Hmm.
that is like I wish that could happen in North American sports, but it'll never happen. So like, how can we get that happening here? And so we had enough hands go up, and that in 2023 we had our first year, and it was two divisions. And so it was the first division's 12 people, and then the next one was I think like 10 people or something like that. And what it is, it's pretty strict rules. Like there's no draft, like I'm sorry, no pickup drop. Like any games you pick up, you can't drop. Like you're
Yeah.
stuck with them. So if they get delayed, you only get one drop. There's three counters, so
Mhm.
it's pretty. And there's 12 teams, and you're drafting 6 games each. So it's like it's a pretty deep roster of games at draft time.
Mm.
And then so the bottom three at the end of the year get relegated down to the bottom division, and the top three move up the division. So there's some good stakes at play here, and there's no like no tags, no remasters, no remakes, that kind of stuff. But it's just a very competitive league with lots of like good hidden gems that you find, and a lot of and we also have our own Discord channels on the Fantasy Critic Discord. So if you join a Super League, you get to join these other channels,
Mm.
and
Oh,
there's
okay.
one for each division. So we have 6 divisions now.
Six
We're in our third
divisions.
year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then there's a general one where we're always hotly debating like, should we do public bidding next year? Right now, it's currently private bidding. We might do public bidding next year. That's up for debate right now. And then the other thing that we're hotly debating right now, and if you're interested, like you can join in because we're going to be debating it probably throughout the rest of the year, is moving from this top up, like the top three move up, bottom three move down, to something that's more inviting. Because if you join right now in division, let's say Division 7, it'll take you like 6 years to get of good play against good players to get to the top.
Right.
So we're looking to change that, and I think there's one player in the Discord. I think it's SNES. I think SNES something. They made like this PowerPoint of all these different options of like
I love it.
histograms and all these little things. So it's like one of them is like a championship division, which I think is the most popular, which is like the top winner of each division moves up to like this big championship
Champions League.
division.
Okay.
Yeah, just
And then
make it
and then
Champions.
it's Champions League. It's
Yeah.
exactly what it is. And then everyone kind of shifts down one or two, like that. So it's just a great league if you're like on the Discord, or if you're active on Discord. It's a perfect league for that, and you want something that's pretty competitive. But also, we're open to anyone because like as long as
Yeah.
you're active, like if you're in the lower division, then maybe that's where you're supposed to be, and you'll find people that are probably equal to your level, and it's perfect. So
Yeah.
it's just a really fun league to have. It's like the
I
one I
love
pay
that.
attention to the most for sure.
Yeah, it must be kind of it's not just a singular season that you're thinking of. You're thinking of multiple seasons. It's really like over time, which is really interesting. It's really the hard
Yeah,
mode.
yeah,
It's the Fantasy
yeah.
Critic hard mode for sure.
Yeah, it does encourage like if you're worried about relegating, like maybe some safer play. But then some people like that's also like sometimes the safer play is like, okay, remember like what was it like Life is Strange, True Colors, or what was the one that came out last year? I was
Mhm.
like, oh yeah, but this is a safe 78, and you're like, okay, and it gets a 70, you're like, that's really like it encourages like the bigger swings sometimes too, and So and it's like you get that floating counter is really stressful because it can block a drop, and it's just like that becomes like your big weapon kind of thing in the game. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's good. It's fun, and lots of chatter, lots of cross division chirping, and like, oh, you're gonna get relegated, I'm gonna get promoted, that kind of stuff. So
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
John, I'm sold. I think I'm in
Oh,
for
you
Critics
yeah.
yeah,
This
I
Royale
may
and
is
have
Super
to.
League.
you have to
I
Yeah,
you
feel
yeah,
have
like we
to.
can't do the podcast without joining at least one of these. So
yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm,
yeah,
mm-hmm.
we'll have to figure out a way when we approach the end of this calendar year of looking into that. And we encourage everybody else to as well. Like it just
Yeah.
sounds like a lot of fun. And obviously the people listening to this probably have a lot of interest already in Fantasy Critics. So yeah, I encourage everybody to go check them out. It sounds like
Yeah,
a great time.
yeah. Bug me. Like I'm the commissioner, so I'm the one who can will like, set it up for next year and organize all the divisions and everything like that. So I'll put a big message out in the Fantasy Critic Discord in like in November or December to recruit players. So yeah, so we're at like 60 people right now. We can get more. So yeah,
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. I mean, this has been great. I mean, I haven't never had the chance to kind of like pick someone's brains about these two um, really fascinating aspects of Fantasy Critic, and I appreciate you doing that for us today.
yeah, happy to do it. This is like my main hobby, probably is Fantasy Critic. So
Nice. Yeah, as long as it doesn't get in the way of gaming, you know. Yeah,
yeah, I know it's true. It usually doesn't, honestly.
yeah.
Usually it's just gaming, but like I find like even lately, I've been trying to play a game and just like falling asleep at like 9:30. Like, oh no! So this is keeping me. This
The
is keeping me
struggle is
awake and
real.
talking.
Yes,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. All right. Well, that's been our topic of the month. Let's talk about what's been happening in the news.
Let's get into the news.
Hey, so it's actually, we're approaching the end of the year, but things aren't really slowing down that much. We had a Sony State of Play earlier in the month, and while there was probably nothing that is going to affect this year's Fantasy Critic, unless someone out there was waiting on Wolverine, we will talk about it because I think it's that time of the year where we start looking at our 2026 lists. So let's start things off with Saros. This is not necessarily going to be in the order in which they appeared in the state of play. We're just going to talk things through as we think they need to be chatted about. So Saros has a March 20th, 2026 game. What did you all think about this title?
I guess I could go first. I think
Mhm.
that Saros might be my top ranked game for next year.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
You're going to
I
start.
really think
All right.
it's I really like I feel like it's a
You know
lock
GTA
for
6 has a Mayday, right? Yeah, yeah. Okay.
yep,
Okay.
yep,
Okay.
yep,
I mean,
yep.
yeah. All right.
Yeah, so maybe that's a little strong as you're pointing this out, but yeah, like it's right up there for me. Like,
Yeah,
so you're probably a solid
I
top
agree.
three, top
First
five.
round pick for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I really like it. We're gonna be talking Wolverine in a sec. I think it's clearly ahead of where I would probably draft Wolverine. So I really like
Interesting.
Saros. I think it's
Mm.
probably pushing 90.
I think like it's basically it's Returnal 2, which I
Mhm.
love Returnal, and Returnal like was a sneaky one when it came out because people underestimated it. I know I underestimated it when it came out because Housemark had a couple not middling, but like games that are a little lower on the review side preceding Returnal. So, but I loved that game and loved it. Platinumed it, everything, loved it. So this just this seems to like iron out a little bit of the roguelike elements. It's adding I think it's making it a little more friendly for people. So I think it should go higher than Returnal if I had to guess. Versus Wolverine, I'm not sure.
Hmm.
I think I'd probably go with Saros just to make sure you have the release date. Go with what you got. Wolverine, like Spider-Man 2, which I still don't believe it deserved a 92 or whatever 91. It still got a 91. There's like that little like that
Yeah,
comic book boost
the
that it
boost.
might get. So
Yeah, that's a fair point. I mean, before I chat, let's talk about Wolverine. So fall 2026 for Wolverine, and I think that is really the thing here. This game looks amazing. I agree. Like of the two, I probably want to play Wolverine slightly more. I probably think Wolverine has a slightly higher ceiling, but with an ambiguous fall 2026, I do think it's going to land. Like I don't think this is going
me
to get
too. Me
pushed,
too.
but I really like March 20th as a date for Saros. So I probably am with you, Marcus. I probably am putting Saros higher than Wolverine, but not by much. Um, but really exciting. We've already been looking at some of these 2026 games, really strong start for that year. It's going to be a deep first round, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Anything else on these two?
I think the Wolverine, like the fall, I would trust the fall release. Like you said, like Sony has done this year after year where they just kind of okay, like this is we don't want to give a date yet, but it's coming. Like I would
Yeah.
trust it, but like a Nintendo one where you're like you kind of trust them more than anyone else, kind of thing.
Insomniac's been good in that regard too. Like Insomniac, I think has been pretty good about
Yeah.
not delaying their games. So
Yep.
yeah, I'm inclined to agree on that.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
do like those early release dates for these first party.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I should have done it with. I'm so upset about Mario getting stupid Mario, and so yeah, every year I've done well. It's been like getting a Hitman 3 or like a Dragon, like get it over with. Just get their 18 points and move on.
Well, let me offer one up here with another early date, and that's Neo 3 with a February 6th, 2026 date. Um, I don't know what to think about this game. I mean, this is probably going to be like a if you're drafting for next year. I mean, maybe there's some value here. I don't know. Any familiarity with the Neo franchise or series?
I really wanted to look up and I didn't, and maybe I'll be typing here for a second. I want to see. Do you know off the top of your head, Dan?
They're
What
both like 87 or so.
I think
86. I
so.
haven't
Yeah,
checked, but
yeah.
Neo 1 and 2 are did well, but then like I remember what it was. Was it Wolong? Was it that one? I remember
Yes.
being like, it's the director of Neo. This can't miss. It'll get an 86 or 87. And then they got 81. And then they did the Ronin game, or maybe that's, I don't know if it's the same director or people involved, but I think it's similar. Like, they've been kind of a little bit softer lately. So I don't know. This might be a definite safe 80, but I don't know if it'll be like your 87s, 88s kind of thing. But I haven't followed I know there's been some previews, but I haven't really followed them too closely.
So Neo 1 is 88 and Neo 2 is 85.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, maybe not a first rounder, but it's definitely going to go early
It probably
just because
will.
that
Probably
February
like 12.
6th date seems pretty strong. Yeah. Similar, again, Crimson Desert with a March 19th, 2026 date. So for those following the Crimson Desert narrative, many thought it was going to come out this year. It was kicked out into 2026. The first game in the series did not score well, but this game looks like a massive overhaul. I only know because I countered this. So if you're wondering why I have this on the tip of my tongue, it was played at Summer Games Fest. I think many people were impressed with the complexity of the game, but the combat's also very difficult. But that could be a plus for some, depending on who's reviewing it. So, I don't know. Thoughts on this one? I'm probably not picking this up just because too scary. But
I feel like it's going to be higher. Somebody's going to draft it before I'm willing to add it to my roster.
Definitely.
And so,
is correct.
because I feel like this game has like a big variance. I think it could. There's some people that are excited about this game, kind of like Kingdom Come Deliverance in a way. It kind of reminds me a little bit about that. So it could go real high, but I think I could also see this game being low 70s. Like I just think that there's a big range for it. So
yeah.
There's like that. I think there's going to be a lot of mistakes made next year with the Clair Obscura in the back of their mind. They're going to be like, oh, this game from this new team, it can get a 90. If it looks good, it feels good, it'll get a 90. And like that was always my like, if I don't have dev history, I'm not touching it. Like almost always, unless it's like some other reason to really go after it. So I'm always hesitant to like, can this be a Stellar Blade? Can this be, or this can it be a Lost Souls Decide? You're always like, I want to know more, and I'm always like, there's too much unknown that I just kind of stay away from it usually. So yeah, like Marcus said, someone will probably grab it before me, and I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree with both those takes. Next up, a game I don't really know much about: Chronoscript: The Endless End with 2026. Just 2026 as a release date. Thoughts? I know the state of play was a few weeks ago now, but anybody targeting this one in their list for next year?
when I saw it on the show doc, I had to remind myself what this game was.
Me too.
So I went and I watched the trailer. This is exactly a Marcus game. I'm not sure that at this point, at least, or at least early in the around draft time, I'm willing to add it to my roster. But it's something that I'm going to be keeping an eye on. We'll see what other hype it gets. I'm sure there will be more that's coming out on this game as it approaches an actual release date, rather than just the window that it is of 2026 right now. But
Mhm.
it's interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love this genre. This genre, Metroidvanias. Of course, I would play many of these, and it looks great. And like Sony, usually games, if it shows up in a state of play, usually decent like chance of getting it. Like, okay, like maybe you get your Hero Gummies, or I don't know if that was here, but usually a good idea for. But I would want a firmer date before I even touched it, probably.
Code Vein 2 apparently is coming out in January of 2026, but the first one received a 74 on OpenCritic. So, despite how this is looking, I'm probably still going to avoid this one. I'm not sure.
Yeah, hard pass. Hard pass.
Yeah,
Okay.
don't know enough about it, so yeah,
Yeah.
probably pass.
Now, this is an interesting one to end on for the Sony State of Play. Deus Ex Remastered with a February 5th, 2026 date. The original, I believe, it was some years ago now, got a 90 on Metacritic. This is a remaster. I don't know what to do with this one. We're going to have to do an episode on remasters and remakes, Marcus.
I know.
But you tell me where you're thinking or where your heads are at on this one.
I'm passing, at least at this point.
Wow.
I'm always a little hesitant with these games. I feel like this comes up pretty regularly for me,
It's the
and I think
Oblivion
sometimes
concern.
it's just the time between when the original released, and if it's only going to be considered a remaster. Sometimes even the remake, it's like these games are still based on the bones of an old game. How does that translate for reviewers, in 2025, 2026? Like, I just, to me, there's just too much risk there. I don't know. It maybe it's one of those, and maybe it's partly because I'm not. I don't know. I'm not super familiar with the franchise. I played Mankind Divided on PS4 years ago. That's it. It was fine. I don't know. I'm probably okay to let this one go.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to listening to this remaster episode, because I'm in no leagues that has remasters, so
Oh,
it's
okay.
like,
Really?
okay, this is what I listen. But I've always wanted to play the franchise. Like, I know people love the first one. I think even Michael Huber recently on some podcast was saying like, "Oh, it still holds up." He was talking it up. So I think the gameplay still holds up quite well for these kind of games, and there's a lot of people are looking for that freedom of gameplay, and I think there's a lot there. So I think it will do well. But again, I don't know remasters, so I don't know.
Well, I do think it's going to be one of those situations where, like, it depends on what we're talking about within a draft. Um, I think people are going to be scared to counter this thing, truthfully. So I think you're probably safe to, like,
Definitely.
I don't know, pick it up late or pick it up in even on the waiver wire, and then try and do your research and homework. You're not gonna have that much time. It's February, but you got some time to figure it out. So we'll see. Especially if you have drops, free drops. It might be one of those things. Uh, I don't know though. I agree with you, Marcus. I've been burned before with the remaster category, and then sometimes you get like a Talos principle, and you feel like an idiot for not going after it sooner. So. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll have to do a bit of a deep dive there at some point soon.
Yeah, my big fear is always like the remake versus remaster. Like, does the tag change?
Yeah.
And how does that impact you? Like, that's the thing I'm always too scared of. So I'm like, even like the Trails in the Sky this year, I was like, I know this game is revered. Like the first
Yep.
one, I know people is a big fan, but I'm like, I don't know what the heck this is. Like, is it going to
Yeah.
get changed? Or maybe I should have known more and researched it more. But I was always like, don't touch it. I don't even
Yeah.
Silent Hill last year. I'm like,
Don't
too
touch it.
scary. Don't know enough about it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Don't want to change.
Yeah. Well, sometimes that's the right approach, right? I don't know. I'll have to see. Sony State of Play, there was a lot in there. Nothing for this year's Fantasy Critic, but definitely for next year's. We're going to move on to the Steam Next Fest series that happened, I guess, earlier in October, not too long ago. Marcus, I'm going to hand this over to you to guide us through what you saw or heard.
Yeah, there's a lot. Obviously, Steam Next Fest, there's no way we're covering it all, because literally there are thousands of demos available to play, for this week-long period. So, you try to scour the list, you try to play some games, you try to check some stuff out, but, there's just so much. So I did pick out 4 that people seem to be talking about, and I wanted to target some games that are at least scheduled to come out this year that
Mhm.
maybe people might be interested in. And I'm curious to get your guys' thoughts if you have any. And I'll just go through the 4. I'll run them down quickly, and then you guys can maybe add your thoughts after it. So the first game is called Half Sword. The reason this one's on my radar, I'd never heard of it before this Next Fest, but it's a bit of a darling. I think it's in the Fantasy Critic system. It got added in the summer. I think it had a previous demo at maybe a previous Next Fest or something. It's like a physics-based medieval combat simulator. It was one of the most downloaded demos of the whole festival, and lots of people are very excited about this game. Not a Marcus game, but it's just got a 2025 release date at the moment. Nothing more specific than that. So that's one. Another one that has come up, I've seen it on the site a little bit. It may have kind of showed up in our kind of our hype check segments at times, John. This is Anno 117 Pax Romana. So, it's a computer strategy building game, PC. It's coming out on November the 13th. One of the reasons it caught my eye is that the previous Anno game, which was Anno 1800, scored an 82. I think it was 2019 that it came out. So another one, Skate Story, considered a stylish street skating adventure. This is a Devolver published game. This one definitely is a little bit more well known, and probably of these four, the most likely to already be owned in your league. But again, people are excited about this demo coming out December 8th. And then the last one is Metroidvania, hand-drawn Metroidvania, kind of in the vein of the Silk Song. I think it's quite challenging from what I've heard, but people are liking the demo, scheduled to come out on November the 24th. So all of those are potential. If you're looking for a late season ad, probably there's a decent chance that at least one of those is still available in your league. And just some ones that caught my eye.
I'll just share a couple of thoughts on these. I don't know, like I never heard of the half sword one, so I meant to look that up, but I'll take a look at that one. The Anno one is like always like tricky with that one. It's like it's the Ubisoft, right? So
Yep.
you never really. They're pretty prone to delays, pretty prone to releasing games that are kind of sent out to die. I think someone mentioned some negative previews or something, so maybe do a little research on that one just in case you're like if you need something safe. I don't know if that's the safest one, but it should still do okay. And then Skate Story, I don't know about this one. Like I think it'll do well. I think people like the style, and Devolver is like pretty safe. But to me, it's not. I'm not super interested in playing it myself. I love Tony Hawk, and and this one, like the dev's previous game, like wasn't super hot. So I'm always like, it's one of those games. I'm like, I'm not going to pick it up, but I'm also never going to counter it. Like one of those kind of games.
Yep.
I think it'll still do well. Honestly, I think it has some cool stuff in it. And then Constance, I think, is the one that has the highest ceiling here. I think that looks solid. The previews were really good. Has like that Silk Song Splatoon, and it has some like painting element to it.
Yep.
So it looks cool. Like I just want to play it the most. So that's usually half the battle, right? So.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm kind of right there with you. For me, Constance is the one that I had heard about it, I think, honestly, through the Fantasy Critic Discord first. And it's one where my teams were full by the time I figured it out, or else it might have been something I would have actually entertained as a kind of a hidden gem. Yeah, man, I was just watching that half sword video. I don't know what this game is. This looks like, baby steps with a weapon. I need to do some research there, Marcus, before I endorse that.
That's funny,
but it interesting. I could see why people are excited for something like that. But I don't know. For Fantasy Critic, I have no idea. Yeah, Pax Romana was one that I had looked at. Dan may have just convinced me maybe not such a good idea. That's some good caution. No, you never know. I mean, like, truthfully, like you do kind of have to weigh those pieces. But yeah, Skate Story, maybe the safest of the bunch. The fact that I'm going into the strategy here. To me, the fact that it's a December 8th date, potentially really valuable for Skate Story. There are going to be people that are looking for real late season value, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. And so that could actually be very helpful to just identify that there's a game out there. It may not get you more than, I don't know what its floor and ceiling is going to be, maybe a mid 70 or a high 70 floor and a, low 80 ceiling, but maybe a little higher. But like just the fact that you'll be able to like put that into a roster late in the season could be like super helpful for somebody out there that just needs to fill a gap. or that may be waiting to fill a gap. So thank you, Marcus. Those are super helpful. Yeah, people should be looking at Steam Next Fest and trying out those demos because that's really one of the only ways. Sometimes you got to judge for yourself, kind of like what feels good to play and where there are issues. And some other news that's just making the rounds. Um, we also had a Kirby Air Riders Direct today, as we're the day that we're recording. So, Dan and Marcus, I know you haven't had a chance to check it out. I happened to give it a listen and a watch, and I was actually looking at the Fantasy Critic Discord as well. I know people are struggling there. I would just say this game is chock full of content, so it's huge. Um, Sakurai has done 2 hours now on this game. Every time he does, he has manages to surprise people with what he's put in it. He had a 10-minute segment on the voice acting for this game. It was really weird, but also super intriguing just in terms of how much is like being built into this. And like it's Smash Brothers on a kart racer, everybody, but with Kirby characters. So
Hmm.
I've been skeptical of this game, of this Nintendo game for a little while in terms of picking it up. I think people that have it are actually going to be like decently rewarded. Like I don't think it's going to get into the 90s. I don't think it's probably going to surpass Mario Kart, but I think it's going to be in the 80s for sure. At this point, I mean, that I feel pretty confident, unless people just really aren't feeling like what he's done here. But there's so much love and passion in this thing. I'd be shocked if it doesn't hit 80. Um, it's just huge. It's huge, and there's so much thought, like just into like little details. Like he did a segment on the accessibility controls, which Nintendo famously doesn't take into too much
Hmm.
consideration, and he's done a whole segment on it. It's just there's every aspect of this thing. It's a lot of customization. It's really interesting. Character creator, dress up, cart, like it's just there's so much here. So I don't know. Maybe it's just the Nintendo sucker in me, but you put that combined with a Nintendo bump, and I think you're probably in a safe spot if you have this on your roster.
Well, it's also like that Sakurai bump. I think it's like going to be
Oh,
like a 78 game with like a 3 point Sakurai bump and like a 2 point
yeah,
like
yeah.
Nintendo bump. So maybe I think like yeah, like
Lands
low
at
to
like
mid
an
80s. I think
83.
is where
Yeah,
it's at. But
yeah,
I didn't play the original. I have no nostalgia for this game, so I think that's a big element of this. Is like, do you have this, or maybe not? Maybe you didn't play the original, and you're like, maybe Mario Kart didn't quite hit for you because I know a lot of people, myself included, were like, didn't really hook me forever. Like I kind of played it and I have it, and it's good to have on your system, but it's not something I'm like dying to go back to right away. So maybe this will be something that's unique that people fall for. But
yeah. When they're weird, that's usually when things work, and this seems kind of weird. And I don't have the
yeah,
nostalgia either, and it's starting to get me, like in terms of wanting to play it. So that says something to me. It definitely looks and sounds like Smash. So
and I think like it being like it's their November game. I think like it wasn't always intended to be this game. I think there was some like Metroid probably got delayed, and there was probably like so it kind of adds this element of like this is their big like Black Friday game kind of thing. Or I don't know when it comes out actually. It's at mid November, I'm assuming, but yeah, it just
yes,
has a
it's
sense of
November
like okay, this
20th,
is a
I
bigger
want to say.
game.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
later November, yeah. Just before
okay,
Thanksgiving, American Thanksgiving.
okay, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So I think it's like one of their big games, and it's like I guess it seems pretty polished. So yeah, I
yeah,
think you're right. I think it's going to be you'll get points for sure.
yeah, yeah. I'm no longer worried about this game. Um, Next up, for those next week after this has gone live, ID at Xbox, there's going to be an ID at Xbox showcase set for October 28th, where presumably we'll hear more. I don't know if there's like that many indie games or games floating out there where we're still waiting on dates, but presumably we'll have more to share in the next episode. We'll be watching that one closely. Marcus, anything on your radar that you might think might show up here or anything here?
I'd be really surprised that there's anything major that comes out of it. Although, like, there's usually a few notable stuff. I'd be surprised if it's just this year. Like, there'll probably be some
Yeah,
stuff to keep an eye on for moving
next
forward.
year.
But
Hmm.
yeah,
And the big news this week, Cosmic Invasion, Marvel's Cosmic Invasion, dated for December 1st.
yeah.
Hooray. Doesn't help
Selfishly,
my yeah,
yeah.
Yeah,
selfishly it doesn't help our teams, but very
No,
excited to play it, good holiday game.
it does look very good. I expect it to score quite well. And I'm a little disappointed that it's coming out this year because that hurts my chances in one of my leagues. So Mr. Sean Capri has it on his
Yes,
team. So
I
yes.
agree. That will probably
Mhm.
sink both of us. Yes. What about you, Dan? Is it going to affect your fantasy critic at all?
No, I don't think so. I remember Shredder's Revenge like got me like a good victory like the year that came. I remember having that really early on, and it's the same. Looks like they're going to hit all the same beats with this one and have the Marvel characters. So the only thing I'm like, there was that. What was it last year? Different publisher, different developer, but it was that like that Mighty Power Rangers
Hmm.
Rita's
Yes.
Revenge, or
Yeah.
that came out like everyone's like that's going to be an easy mid '80s. Digital Eclipse is involved, and it really did not hit at all.
Yeah.
It was like a 70, I'm pretty sure. So not that I think this will happen at all. I still think like 85 is a pretty safe bet for this,
Hmm.
but that's in the back of my mind. I'm like, maybe this December slot isn't the best. Not
Yeah.
again, like people aren't really reviewing as much. Like it might be one of those things, but Marvel usually gets a good number of reviews on their games. So
Yeah. Yeah, and I think the demo, people have gone out and played the demo. It's seeming like it's going to hit. So, yep, exciting times. Good news. Unlike the rest of the news that we have, which are all delays.
yeah,
So we'll go through these quickly. Witchbrook delayed to 2026. I believe this was a game that a lot of people were looking forward to at least playing. I don't know how much it's going to affect Fantasy Critic, but definitely it was on some teams. Um, I'll just run through these and then we'll stop on the last one. Cairn now with the Q1 2026 release date, and I know Karen for sure was one that was on a lot of radars. We had spoken about it as potentially an indie game that could swing things in a positive direction for people looking for some hidden gems. So now that's no longer available. Uh, Mouse PI for Hire, another game that many had picked up, hoping for some hidden points. Early 2026 now, no longer pushed out of it's pushed out of 2025, and then yeah. So let's stop there and chat about those three. Any of those like affecting your leagues? For me, not really. It seems like the people that are, Cosmic Invasion landing is actually much more impactful. But I'm sure there's people out there that are disappointed with these delays.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Cairn one is for me the biggest disappointment. It doesn't affect me directly in any of my leagues, but I was keen to see this one come out, and I was expecting it to score pretty good. Seems to have some pretty positive hype around it, so you just have to wait a few more months.
yeah, the Karen definitely doesn't impact me directly, but it was a big game changer. Like all, I think in most of my leagues, like the leader, like the one of the leaders, like that was potentially going to win. Like they had this, and then
Oh,
that not having like makes things more interesting. Definitely.
yeah.
Hmm.
Witchbrook was always a no for me. Like a holiday 2020. It was a holiday release date. I'm always nervous about those. But Chucklefish is usually pretty good publisher, and they're developing this too, so they have a good track record. I think so. I think that's a decent pickup for next year. And
Yeah,
then Mouse PI for hire. I had this countered in my full counter league, so I'm making that decision in January. And I thought it was just one of those like, oh, we got the license to this old Mickey Mouse thing. Let's just see what we can get out of it. And someone recently was like, oh no, it has like Bioshock influence, and it's like more. I thought it was just like a shooter. I didn't know anything about
Yeah.
it, and like it looks like there's more there than meets the eye. So I'm going to take a closer look at that next year.
For next year, yeah. Yeah, my biggest thing here with these three is like people that had it and now they can drop them because they were waiting for that delayed tag, depending on
Yeah.
the rules of your league. So, a couple more weeks would have helped me out. But good for people that can make their move still. Enough
Mm-hmm.
notice. Some other delays. So Terminator 2D, No Fate, I guess pushed out to November 26th. So still landing this year, but delayed
this is the second
slightly.
delay. This is the second
Yeah.
delay for this game, but apparently this delay though, John, is just to synchronize the release of the digital and the physical copies.
Oh,
So
okay.
there was some delay with tariffs or something. I think it was tariff
Hmm.
related for the physical. So they just delayed the digital so that everything could come out the same day. So it's not
Okay,
even they're
because
not even polishing or anything like that.
okay, well, the multiple delays you had me a little worried, but okay, if
I
that's the
know
case,
that's
yeah,
why I wanted to point. That's why I put this on the dock. I
yeah,
think if you liked it enough to have it on your roster, I don't think this most recent delay
yeah,
is any reason to be scared.
yeah. And then the last one, the big one, Mina the Hollower. So this has now been delayed without a date. So we don't know if this is going to land this year or not. And I guess the big question at this point is how is this affecting your individual leagues? But also, if you were someone that had this on your team, do you continue holding, and for how long? And this is where that skate question comes in. Um, like how long do you hold on, and do you wait for them to make another announcement before you make a move?
Yeah, I would get rid of this.
Wow.
But it depends on your league. It depends on your league.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. By the time it was supposed to come out October 31st. They're talking about a couple. What did they say? A month? A few months? Or what did they say? I can't remember the exact phrasing.
I think it
People are
was a
debating like
few
what few
weeks.
means.
Yeah,
Few
like
weeks? Or, I don't know. By the
yeah.
time you get to the Game Award season, they're not going to release a game in like anywhere near December. I don't think so. Get this out of the way, out of the game of year discussions. Put it to next year. And I know personally, like I had a decent, I had a chance at maybe winning my main league with this. I think I would have been like at least closer. And now it's just I'm out of it. So I'm talking about the league that I have that I can't do any drops.
Yeah.
So
Right.
it's like, okay, that's it. So,
That's it. Yeah.
but yeah, that sucks.
What about you, Marcus?
I'm in agreement. I think that like their reluctance to put a date on the delay, even though it was supposed, they kind of described it as, just polishing, just a little bit of finishing touches that we're doing. I don't remember exactly the wording, but that's the impression that I was given based on their statement. Um, their hesitation to give a date, if it was only going to be a month delay, like to late November or something like that, I feel like if they knew it was going to be only 4 weeks, they would have said it was only going to be 4 weeks. So I feel like, and like Dan just said, you're not going to release this game much later than that. It's not going to be a mid-December
Yeah.
release. So, we're recording here, in late October, and we don't have a date. And so basically, yeah, I think
Yeah.
that the odds that it comes out this year are very, very
Yeah,
low. Um,
my rule of thumb is like I think this was a Summer Games Fest. It was dated, right? Does that sound right to you?
It's summer.
something
I
like
don't know if it was that summer against us, but yeah, definitely in the
Or
summer,
one of
late
those,
summer.
I
Yeah.
think. So maybe let's say June. It was announced. It got a date for October 31st. So their marketing plan is probably a 3 month window, at least, right? So I
mhm.
think you're gonna give it another couple months when you actually have the date. But I could be wrong on that. Maybe they shadow drop at the Game Awards. I think that's just hopium. Like I think you're just gonna
I
just move on.
do I do think that what you said, Dan, makes a lot of sense in that your individual circumstance is going to dictate what you do here. Like if you're in third or fourth and you need like 25, 30 points to even have a shot at winning, like this might be your best shot between now and the end of the year, right? Like you're holding on, you're going to take that swing. You hope that it comes out. You hope that it's shadow drop. There's not much else you can do. I don't think you're going to find the hidden gem that's going to get you 30 points. Um, However, if you're in first or you're in second and you're trying to close out the season or you're trying not to be relegated, I think that you do need to probably make a move. There's not that much time left. Your options are starting to come down in terms of what's available and where you don't want to be stuck with nothing. I will say that last year I made a move in September to drop Hollow Knight and pick up UFO 50, and that was the difference between winning and not winning. And at the time there was no indication that Silksong like wouldn't come out, but it was just like there was no news. And at a certain point in the year, you just got to cut your losses. So I think uh, really your circumstance is going to dictate what you do. But I agree with both of you that it may be time to just take the best of the other options out there. Because what is that going to cost you, right? If it's 25 or 30 points versus maybe a game that can get you 15, I think you kind of have to weigh those now. Maybe Cosmic Invasion, if you're able to still pick that up, which I doubt it. But you got to start
Well, I mean, I
evaluating
think
what
that's
else
a
is out
that's a
there.
big factor too. I mean, you kind of been dancing around, but to say it explicitly, what else is available? Like,
Yeah,
what else is out there in your league? Is it, if it's super thin and there's almost nothing? Well, then maybe it is worth holding on to just for another week or two to see
let's
if
see.
you
But
might
then
get a date.
you're gonna have to make that move very
Yeah,
soon.
eventually, but
Yeah,
it might dictate at least how quickly you're dropping it, right?
yeah,
And how quickly you have to make that decision, depending on what's the alternative, right? Everything
yeah,
is always that cost benefit. Like, what is the other option, right?
yeah,
And um, if there's lots of other good options out there, well, if there is cosmic invasion, well, then absolutely take
Yeah,
that,
take it.
make
Yeah.
that swap
Yeah.
like yesterday. But
Hmm.
if not, if it's really thin, there's not much out there, then maybe you do hold on a little bit longer. But I mean, I don't know.
What's that famous quote? Is it from Shawshank Redemption? I forget. Like it's the hope that kills you. Just don't do it.
That's good.
I've been there before.
Yeah.
Silksong for a full year. 3D Mario for
Yeah.
a full year. It's like
Yeah.
just take.
I
the
agree,
safe
by the
plays.
way. Yeah.
Big
Maybe
points.
just playing the
Yeah.
devil's advocate a bit.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for all the news and rumors. Let's move on to the hype check.
Hype check.
So lots of scores to go through October and end of September. So starting with Consume Me, which we talked a little bit at the start of the show, Consume Me is currently sitting at an 82, perhaps slightly lower than we had thought. Thoughts on this? Maybe Dan, I'll start with you, and then we'll go to Marcus.
Yeah, I think this was hyped up on these the indie developer awards or something like that. I never even heard of it until this year. And if you look at the nominees over the last couple of years, some bangers there. So like I think if you're doing your research for next year, like check out this Game Awards thing that this won all these awards and I think people are kind of expecting more out of it, but it's one of those things where not enough reviews. It's getting kind of dragged down by one or two when they're lukewarm. So a little lower than we thought, but still not bad at A2.
Yeah, and obviously, I mentioned early in the show I played this game. I think it's pretty good. Very different. Tells a pretty personal story, and I think 82 feels a little low. But like Dan said, there's it's sitting at 15, 16 reviews overall, which is
Yeah.
a lot less than I was expecting. To be honest, I figured at least double that. And yeah, so I think honestly, if it had more reviews, I think the score might and it because it started out when it first
Yeah.
got a score, it was sitting at like I don't know 76
68.
maybe. So,
Oh,
Yeah,
I
it
thought
was
it was even
lower, yeah.
lower. I thought it was even
I
lower.
know.
Yeah. Can I say something? Let me just opine real quick. But like, there's lots in the news that we don't cover around the state of the industry and what's going on with like large publishers and developers and AAA games. And like, there's always that narrative around like indie games, like holding things like just like so much creativity and so much like, for those that are running the Open Critic site, we probably do need to like figure out a way to capture more of indie reviewers because there's there's only so much time a top critic and big outlets have to dedicate to this stuff, but there's definitely so much interesting material and like their aggregate scores are being really tossed around depending on how many people are actually like engaging with it. So I don't know what to do there, but
Yeah.
I agree with you, Marcus. It probably needs a little bit more. Next up, Hades 2. I know we talked about this last time briefly that it can't affect most people's Fantasy Critic and that it was in early access for so long, but it's sitting at a 94. So this released game currently the highest rated game of the year.
it
I
is.
don't know.
Yeah.
I think so.
It beat
Outside of the
what's that game?
the anime game there.
Sudoku? Or
Yeah, I
I
can't
don't
remember
know
what
what
it's
it's called.
called.
Yeah.
Or it's on par with it in terms of its overall Open Critic score. But
Yeah.
this is crazy. I haven't played it yet. I plan to. It's kind of sad that it probably affecting so few leagues. But yeah. Any takers on Hades 2?
I thought it would be lower for sure than the original game, like because the original one was what 95 or so, around the same thing. And I thought it'd be more of the same, which
Yeah.
I was not a huge fan of Hades one. Like I definitely liked it. I beat it once. And I was like, okay. I was more of a Dead Cells person myself, but I didn't really expect it to get as high as it did again. But there we are.
Very nice. Marcus?
I kind of on with Dan. I'm a big Super Giant fan, and I think the further time I played Hades, I think I beat it a few times. So not much. Basically, the similar experience to Dan, but the further I've gotten away from playing it, the less excited I am about it. And I think it at the moment might be my least favorite Super Giant game, and I haven't played Hades 2, so I'm not super interested in it. Yeah.
I'm shocked not on a fantasy critic level, on a personal level. I beat Hades a lot. I did whatever you needed to do to get that proper ending, and never really liked that type of genre. Loved that Hades one, and I'm like just dying to get into this, but I'm kind of
Okay.
occupied with some other titles right now. So seeing it at 94, yeah, I'm equally shocked and excited. So,
Mm.
yeah, unfortunate. You know what? I shouldn't say it didn't affect. There are some leagues that allow for early access review scores to count, and so I know it had some effect on last year's season,
Yeah.
which was also very high, even in the beta. So, next up, Lego Party, sitting at an 80. And I wanted to raise this because I know that when Kyle Stevenson was on the show, he did talk about his experience and the Trophy Room's experience playing this game at Summer Games Fest. And, 10 points for, entry into the party genre, not too shabby. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to playing this one. I need to actually purchase this. Um, it's just Mario Party but Lego, and apparently in some ways superior to Mario Party. So yeah.
Mm.
There's like the Lego Voyagers. That's the one that caught my eye more
Voyagers.
so. And I think they
Yes.
scored very much the same, and they came out like very close together.
Yes.
And this one wasn't even on my radar. I totally forgot about this one. So glad it's hitting.
Yeah, it's just a throwback. 'Cause I remember we chatted about it, and I was excited for it for a while. So, next up, Final Fantasy Tactics. This is the remaster, sitting at an 88. This one, Marcus, famously, you were not so high on. And
Yeah.
again,
This might
in
be
the
one of my bigger whiffs
remaster,
of the year, actually.
yeah,
Yeah.
the remaster category, right? You never know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it lived up to the expectations. This is another one I want to play, actually. I'm not a big Final Fantasy guy, but I like tactics games. So, Dan, was this on your radar? You talked about not really being in leagues that allow the remaster, so maybe this has not been one that you've been following.
Yeah, no, I don't really know remasters super well, but I know I'm not again. I recently started playing Final Fantasy games with the remake and rebirth, and I played 16. So those are like my three big entries, and one of my backlog entries this year is to play the very first one, the Pixel Remaster.
Oh,
So I do own this. I do own this on my PS Vita. When they were like, when they announced they're closing the PSN store.
yep.
I was like, I gotta buy all these stupid
I
games
did
on
the
this
same
game.
thing. Yeah.
And I bought it, and I'm like, they're gonna remaster this. Why did I buy that? And
Yeah.
of course, they remastered it, so they beat me.
That's funny. Oh yeah, no. Well, I look forward to hearing your thoughts on this as well, then, because it's one on the. It's a gap in my video game knowledge as well. Another remaster, Super Mario Galaxy 1+2, which again we had talked about last episode with Sean, sitting at an 87, which I think is probably where we more or less placed it, that it wasn't going to bust into the 90s, but it was going to get you good points. I thought maybe a little lower, given like what people have been saying in terms of like not so much touch-ups done to it, but I guess just the games themselves are still shining through. Personally, it's killing one of my chances in one of my leagues, so I'm very upset. But did this? So I guess again, Dan, this doesn't allow you. You're not really in a league that would enable this, and it's not considered a 3D Mario new release, so it didn't count
I
towards
know.
your.
I didn't even entertain joking about that because I was like, this is ridiculous. But this is more of a personal like, do I even buy this? Because I'm like, I love Super Mario Galaxy 2. I was still bitter that it wasn't included in the 5 years ago collection, and I'm like, do I even want it? I can't. I don't even know. Should I be rebuying the first one too? Because I can get it on like my 4K TV. Is this worth it? Or I have a anyway. So I'm more the debating. Should I play this?
Are you a physical collector, sir, or are you just digital? What is your?
I do buy not necessarily out of like, oh, I want to like hold on to this forever. More just that I can resell this stuff,
Resell?
and
Yeah.
it has it holds its value more. But I'm learning more now with kids. Like, I don't want to have to get up and take this out of the console every time I want to play games. I'm like, I'm kind of rethinking that for next generation.
No, I'm with you. I'm actually in the same boat as you. I have the original 3D collection, and will probably be buying Galaxy 2 when it is time to play that digitally on its own, not in the bundle. So, but yeah, the score, I don't know. It's hard. This is with Nintendo and the remakes and the remasters. It's tough to say where it's going to land.
Yeah.
Okay, the big one. I think this was one of my locks early in the year, if I'm not mistaken. Ghost of Yote, so a sequel to Ghost of Tsushima, sitting at 87. Probably right in the middle, I think, of where you and I had placed it, Marcus, in terms of our predictions. And I am playing this game and it's amazing, and I can see why it's at an 87. It's more Ghost of Tsushima in the best possible
Yeah.
way, maybe with a better story. So it makes lots of sense. Is this affecting your leagues? Do any of you have it in any of your leagues?
No, I think everybody who has it in the leagues that I'm in is not anywhere near
In
the
contention?
top.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to playing it eventually, but probably not anytime soon. But yeah, it looks great.
Yeah. I think it basically hit exactly where everyone expected to. I don't think there's any surprises there. Personally, I platinumed the first one. I want to play this, but same with Horizon Forbidden West. Like I keep meaning to get to that and haven't got around to it just because I feel like I know the game,
Yep.
Yeah.
which maybe that's wrong, but I feel like I know. I want to be more surprised, but you need to play these games every once in a while just to play on a big TV and just enjoy it. So maybe not the platinum. Maybe not the platinum.
Maybe not the
Just
platinum.
play
It's wonderful though. If I can plug it. Um, yeah, and then we had Yuka Replay sitting at a 77, which is interesting because I know there's been like a lot of discourse around this game in terms of what is this game? Is it a remaster or is it something different? And it's probably a little bit of both. Sounds like it's more of a remake, but sitting at a 77.
That was my first ever like Kickstarter and first and only Kickstarter game that I've done, and I was a huge collectathon player, and I bounced off the first game like in like an hour. So
Interesting.
this one, I'm hopeful that this fixes the things that I didn't like about the first one, but I haven't researched it enough to actually buy it.
It looks great. I never played the first ones, but this looks great. Yeah. By Sweet Carol is sitting at 71. So this is one where we did talk about last time. It has a really interesting art style, but from everything you can hear, game did not connect, too repetitive, just not what people were looking for. So they kind of missed the mark, despite the interesting art style. I thought I would just mention it. Probably not on many people's radars, probably not on many people's teams. The next one, though, is on many people's teams, and that's Absalom, which hit at an 86. And very happy that this is landing for people because I know it's been a big one. How is this affecting maybe the Super League or the Critics Royale, Dan?
This is a popular pick in Royale. This is one of those like, okay, everyone's gonna have this if you're paying attention. This is like a good $4 like easy points. I think it was one of those games that like you want to get. Everyone knows it's going to be it has solid pedigree behind it, good publisher, but also too rich for my blood when it comes to bidding time. I like to really save my coin. I'm really cheap when it comes to this kind of stuff. I used to save for one big game usually, so it was already out of my price range in bidding time. So didn't get it.
And Marcus, thoughts on this one? Looking back,
Yeah, it looks good. I'm honestly a little surprised it did quite that well. 86 is a nice
quite
score.
Yeah.
It did look really cool. I remember us both saying it looked really, really cool. But yeah, it kind of outperformed even where I thought it would be. So it's awesome.
One that you were correct about, Marcus, Little Nightmares 3 sitting at a 74. And I think you had kind of called this early, or last time we've chatted about this. I mean, the narrative around this game was a different developer. And
it's about it. I told you, Sean. You're. I'm sure you're listening. I told you. So yeah, it's set right where I thought it would be. When I had counterpicked it at the beginning of the year, it didn't have a release date. And usually I aim for games that have a combination of don't have a release date and even if they do come out, probably not going to hurt me too badly. And that's kind of where this one ended up. I think I said 75 last episode, John. So 74 right there. So yeah.
I remember Sean had me nervous. I had this countered in Super League as well, and it should go down a couple points too. I'm hopeful that.
Yeah.
But I remember Sean was very confident. I was like, oh man, did I get this wrong? Like, is this going to be an 80? So
I mean, these games are pretty beloved. I mean, it does look like the game. Like it does look like it plays the same way. It looks really cool. I haven't engaged with it yet, so I don't know why it's this low. Truthfully, I haven't read the reviews closely, but
people want Reanimal. I think that's like I think people know like this is not the real team. We want the real team on this. So I think that one will hit next year.
Which I think that got a demo. I think the demo was out for Reanimal, so they waited for this to release and then release the demo, which is also a little bit of shade, which is interesting. And then Battlefield 6 currently sitting at an 82. Good on him.
Yeah.
Breaking the
Yeah.
multiplayer trend for this year. We'll see how Call of Duty does, but
Well, and it
yeah,
it has kind of trickled down a little bit. I
yeah, it
think
was
it
started
was,
higher. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, hey, if you get an 82 on a multiplayer game, I think good on, yeah, you've done okay. So,
Ball Pit,
mhm.
published by Devolver, sitting at an 87. When Devolver did a direct just on this one game, people thought they were nuts. And it looks like they've got something. This game not only scored well, but is also kind of dominating a lot of discourse around just how fun this game is. So I didn't have room on my team, or else this would have been one that I would have been targeting. Unfortunately, I wish I had waited. I don't know if this is something that either of you have picked up or had the chance to.
I had a chance for it, and I should have been on it. Like I knew Mr. Suntat Boggs, that's the same developer, and that was pretty well received. And I had a chance to bid on it the one weekend, kind of hemming and hawing. And I was like, kind of hesitated a little bit, and then the next week someone else picked it up, and then I was like, instant regret. But
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
okay. Glad it's doing well.
I've got to say that of all the episodes we've done, Marcus, this list of games that have recently released probably has the most number of games I actually want to play or are playing,
Mm.
from any of the swath of games that have come out in a short period of time. This is and we're like halfway through. There's so many more to come here.
Yeah.
It's a big year.
Yeah. Pokemon Legends ZA. We're all from Canada, so we continue with ZA. Scoring an 82. Um, performing well.
Mhm.
Performing well. I mean, I think people may have had it a little higher and like when they were picking it up and stuff, but definitely outperforming the Scarlet Violet narrative, sticking around the
It's
same,
right
I think,
around
with
where that RCS.
Arceus.
Yeah, right
Yeah,
around. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. And discourse is stronger on this one. Dan, you play Nintendo games. Is this one that's something you're engaging with?
So shockingly, I should have mentioned at the beginning. Like, I've played a lot of Nintendo games. I've never engaged with the Pokemon. I had like
Very
Pokemon
similar.
Yellow,
Mm.
and then I
Mm.
played like I just wandered around in one patch of grass over and over again. I didn't really understand how the game was working at all. But I'm working on getting my RPG muscles trained, and I played Final Fantasy. I played the East game this year.
Oh,
Mm.
Trying to play a lot more. I'm playing Mass Effect right now,
oh,
so
me too.
I'm I'm like, there we
That's
go,
right.
John.
You
We're
did. Yeah.
the same
Yeah,
person.
we're in the same.
So I'm learning, and I want to play one of the Pokemon games at one point. That's going to be on the backlog list at some point. So, but Legends Arceus is honestly one of the games I do want to play as like a first Pokemon. I think it's not the terrible choice.
Yep. Yep, I agree with you. And apparently this one is kind of up there as well. Next up, Keeper is at 81, which I think is actually lower than I would have had this at. I'm pretty sure we guessed that this would have been
Hmm.
higher. I've not played it, want to play it. Another one on the list. Yeah,
Yeah,
not
it's a
sure
little
what to do
lower
with
than
Keeper.
I was hoping for. And this is one that I had one of the recent ones in Dan and our league here. So I was hoping for kind of more that mid 80
Hmm.
range. 81's not terrible, but I don't think it's going to be enough to keep me ahead of him. So
Ah,
I remember there was like one of the directors is like some his other game was like a little low on the lower side, so I had a little lower expectations for it. But Double Fine, like they usually just do great stuff, and
mhm.
like it looked very compelling. And now I learned that it's like 3 hours long. I'm like, I'm gonna play that like
sure.
for sure
Yeah.
because like why not the 3 hour game? So
Ninja Gaiden 4 sitting at an 82. Again, a game that started slightly higher, kind of come down just a little bit, but probably landing. What to me, the narrative that's interesting here is that it's lower than Ninja Gaiden Ragebound by a significant amount. Which
Yeah.
um, I know that within the reviews, there's a little bit of you know really complimentary language in the text, and the score is not following the text maybe a little bit, which is always an interesting exercise. Um, haven't played it. I don't know if I will play this one, but I think people were hoping for a little bit more, similar to Keeper, right? Just a little bit more, maybe mid 80s. Didn't really reach it. Um, I wasn't banking on it, but
I think it's right about where I thought it probably would be, maybe even a little higher. I think I was a little down on it when we guessed our scores last week, but yeah.
all right.
I think
Hmm.
I think Rage Bound is more my speed. I think I had I had that in my Super League, and I thought that was going to do well.
Mhm.
This one I didn't quite know its range because it's been away for so long. This
Mm.
particular one, so I wasn't sure.
Fair point. maybe next two games scoring slightly higher than we would have thought. Power Wash Simulator 2, which I know has been a big bid on game for some time, and I've always wondered why. Clearly, people know what they're doing out there. It's scoring an 84. This has surprised me, but
Mhm.
also maybe not surprise a number of people that have been picking it up for the last number of months that I've been watching them continuously add it to their leagues. I know people like the first one. I didn't expect it to be reviewed so well. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I have no interest in this game. But
Yeah.
and so that probably colored my interest in it for fantasy purposes. So yeah, I think this is as absolute ceiling that it could have hit. It got it. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, both these games were on like not really on my radar. Like I think maybe I got Power Wash in Royale, but
Hmm.
Jurassic World I usually just skim past that. Like I think there was something indicating this could have been better than the other two that were in the series, but I didn't quite ever got to the point of like looking into what actually was the. I don't know if the developer behind it, or if there was a good preview or something, but
Hmm.
some people were aware of this one. I definitely missed it. So
So, what is the title? Jurassic Park Evolutions? Is that what it is?
I think it's the third one. I think there's a third.
Evolutions
I think this
3.
is not the first one.
Yeah,
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 it's like
yeah.
so. I looked at the other two, and
Evolution 3. Yeah,
they weren't really good. I don't
yeah,
think they're okay. 70s maybe.
yeah. Sitting at an 83. I'm surprised. We're about to talk about the waiver wire pickups and everything. It was on there as one of the games that was being selected. But
yeah.
now next, just released today as we record this, lower than I think many people expected. Outer Worlds 2. It's sitting at
Mhm.
an 82, which it's climbed actually. It started at 79 and it's kind of gone up a little bit, which is probably to many people's relief. Um, Kind of falling in that same category of other slightly disappointing games where you just expected just a bit more, your Civ 7s and your Yakuzas and the like, where you just expected just a little bit more. And yeah, I don't know. I haven't dived in. This just happened today, so probably not a lot of time to react here. But I just open it up to you both.
Well, you messaged me this morning that the reviews were dropping, and I think at that point it was 80, and I was shocked. I didn't think I thought that was absolutely. I thought 82 was like the low end for this
Hmm.
game.
Hmm.
And so to see 80, which it's only a couple of points, but I didn't see a world where it was going to be there. And oftentimes with these games, if anything, they drop a point
Yeah.
or two as more reviews start to roll in. Going up a couple of points is less common. So so yeah, I think it's moving in the right direction, I guess, but still a little lower than I was expecting.
Yeah, I agree. I thought I had 84, 85 or so,
Yeah,
kind of in line with the first one. I thought. Now, I think was the first one like a Game of the Year nominee. I feel like
I
it
think so.
was. It was maybe a down year
yeah,
overall, but I guess that's kind of a
it
backhanded
was Outer
compliment.
Wilds year because I remember being confused
Yeah.
with Outer Worlds and
Other
Outer
Yeah,
Wilds, yeah.
Wilds, which
yeah,
so it must have been 2019 maybe.
Yeah, but
Anyway,
it is
yeah.
interesting to see. Like, I think, I think that my thing last time, because I thought it was going to do way better than this, is I think the narrative around the game, around the first one, had only like increased the lore around Outer Worlds, and I
mm,
thought that would help push the number forward. I will say there's a narrative here of all the Game Pass games being lower than expected. Keeper, Ninja Gaiden, Outer Worlds. I don't want to make that connection, but it's kind of staring me in the face. I'm just telling you, you know,
Yeah,
was Avowed this year? Was that this
Avowed
year?
was
yep.
this
I'm
year. It
imagining
also
that
kind of came
that was a
under.
little lower than
So
I thought
just
people expected to.
but so was Clear Obscure. Clear Obscure was on Game Pass too. Everybody, like,
Yep,
come on, that's
this is true.
as was Blueprints. I played them there. And Silksong. They're all on Game Pass. Let's
Yep.
be balanced. But yeah, these games is surprising. The last one on our list doesn't have a score, and that's Dispatch. So let's talk about it. Probably should have a score. People are waiting on it. I think there's some top critics reviews out there that are pretty decent actually, but they hasn't received enough top critic scores to actually place yet. So thoughts on it not having a score yet, and maybe its intersection with um, the fact that it's episodic in nature.
Well, I think you just hit on it. I mean, I think there is some worry. Again, I would feel like we touched on this a little bit last episode, but like, I don't know. I'd be curious to do a little bit more of a deep dive at some point, John, about these games that do these episodic releases because I don't think it benefits them in terms of these review scores. Dispatch, I mean, presumably it will get a score at some point, but I don't think it does the game a lot of favors in terms of like building up that marketing kind of cycle for
Mhm.
things to be so staggered over a period of time. So I don't know. I know you have some stuff to say about this, Dan. So
Well, yeah, this is a hotly debated topic on the Open Critic Discord. Is what to do with these episodic games. Do you average the score after at the end of all the episodes are out, or do you put out a page for each one and then do it manually? So I know the Lost Records one earlier this year was controversial. That ended up lower than people were kind of expecting, but. So I don't know what's going to happen with this one. If Open Critic's going to wait until after all, I think they come out every week. There's 2 episodes, so in
something like that.
another
Yeah.
another 3 more weeks after this, they'll be all out, and then
Mm.
people will start reviewing it then. But then you're in the late November. You're kind of getting into the game of the year prep, and it's going to be kind of few on the review side. I think so. I don't know. I think the range is pretty wide on this one because I think what if the last episodes don't hit? So
Yeah.
then
Mm-hmm.
that you get that one review, it kind of I don't know. So it's one of those things that I'm nervous about it, but I'm expecting it to still do. I think the first 2 episodes were well received, so I
Yeah.
think like so far.
Yeah.
So maybe I think an 80s, low 80s is probably safe. I don't know.
I think
Tricky one.
I think it is. I think truthfully it'll get there soon, maybe even by the time that this episode releases. I'll just give you a quick rundown. There's 5 reviews so far on the Open Critic webpage. 2 of them are top critics. Of those 5, none of them go below 80.
Okay.
The 2 top critic scores are an 8.7 out of 10 and a 9 out of 10.
Mm.
So, now, as we know, from earlier in the episode, when you have so few reviews, it's actually very volatile. But at least it's trending in the right direction for when that third one hits, right? I think your point, Dan, is even if the third one comes in at an 8, it's gonna average out to something decent. Um, it's gonna make it's gonna make a bit of a roller coaster for those that own this game, and yeah, I don't really know. Episodic games are such an interesting bunch, and got to be kind of cautious, I guess, when you're putting something like that on your roster. But I think it's still gonna do well. At least this one. The narrative around it has been positive. So
But even the Open Critic page right now is doesn't even say like dispatch episodes 1 and 2, does it? Or
No.
does it say just dispatch? So like maybe they're not even going to do that. So like it's very fickle with what they're even deciding on this. So I'm sure some people will get up in there and start arguing their case and that kind of thing. And they usually are pretty responsive to ideas, but I know they were pretty firm on the Lost Records one. So I don't know how they'll treat this one.
well, with that, let's look ahead a little bit. And as always, when we're looking ahead, we're going to do a bit of a dive into what's been bid on over the last week, where people are putting their money and their dollars so late in the season. So we won't run through all of them, but I think there's some worth mentioning, starting with number 1, Skate Story. So,
Mm-hmm.
Marcus, you had 66 people bidding on Skate Story, putting a total of 558 Fantasy Critic dollars on it. Probably a good sign that people are hearing the rhetoric and the demo and people trying the game hands on and having a good impression. It's probably a good sign, I would say. Um, so yeah, that kind of reinforces what you indicated earlier. Um, I'm trying to see where else would there be some value. We've talked about Hyrule Warriors. That's second on this list. Likely going to do fine. And Arc Raiders, which is set to come out in the next month, also getting some positive feedback. And I know Arc Raiders had this past weekend. I haven't engaged with it, but I think they did not a beta, but almost like a server test. So I think people got a chance to go hands on. So again, this could be an interesting um, uh, indicator of how people are feeling about this game. Other things that are kind of on this list that make a lot of sense is Luminous Arise, which again is coming out next month, and Demon School. Demon School with 42 bids and $423 spent. We're going to talk about Demon School in a second. But anything stand out to you all about those kind of top 5, 6 games, or anything else that you're surprised by?
we've said it before. We've harped on it. You just mentioned it, John. Luminous Arise. If that is available in your league, I think that is the absolute one that you're looking for a game. That's the one you probably should be targeting.
Definitely, that should be like mid 80s at least.
Yeah.
They're the Tetris Effect people that don't really miss. So the other ones I think are all decent pickups right now. This, especially the Skate Story is a great one to pick up at this stage. And again, I still think might be a little softer than people are really hyping it up, but I still think it'll be good points. And Hyrule Warriors seems to be pretty tight range on that one. I don't see that being terrible. So.
Yeah.
And Demon School is one of those things that like I was big on it like last year. I had it in my league last year, and they just like delayed it like 3 different times, I think, and they keep delaying it now. And I'm still kind of nervous. I'm like, I'll believe it when it's actually out. But the previews were good when I was picking it up at that time last year, so
Yeah.
it should be a decent pickup.
And then if you go further down the list of games that people are targeting, there's a couple on here that might be also worth mentioning. And that one is Europa Universalis 4, which, Dan, I know you still have on your list. Now, sorry, number 5. Europa Universalis 5. With 31 people putting it on their team, so they see something. Probably they see that Europa Universalis 4 did receive an 87 on Metacritic. So for whatever that's worth, they're clearly banking on the pedigree of the franchise. The other one that we've already talked about today was Constance. Again, another Steam Next Fest game that you had picked out, Marcus, with 27 bids, $188, but definitely people are still seeing that as having some value for Fantasy Critic. So yeah, any other sleepers or quieter games that you want to call out for the greater good?
I know one on my Super League team is Four Strike. Just got a date. It's a Devolver game. It's from the developers that made Olija. I don't know how to say it. Olija. It was a game I played on. I played it on Game Pass a couple years ago, and I thought it was like a really nice little gameplay hook that was like a cool little hook shot. Like I mean, a little like it was cool. I recommend that game. And then this is their newest one. It's kind of like a 2D Sifu kind of game where you're kind of like memorizing like the combat, and then but you're practicing, and then you can't fail. And then when you are ready to do it, you get to do it like the whole run if you memorize it. So it looks like a decent like pick up on the cheap kind of thing. I think it's not a terrible one.
Nice little tip in there for everybody listening. All right. And yeah, I mean, it's getting thin. We're getting towards the end of the year. There's pretty soon not going to be that much to pick up. So hopefully people have filled out their rosters. And with that, let's make some score predictions.
Pixel Prognostications.
So, not that many games that we're going to be covering, but we will go in order, and Dan will cue you up when it's your turn. And we will record these, and then we'll follow up with you towards the end of the season just to let you know how you did. So first up, Dragon Quest 1+2. This is, again, another remaster. And it's funny because I need this game to score very well to do well in one of my leagues. And I'm going first. I'm going to say 86.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that just wishful thinking, John?
I mean, the original games did well. The Dragon Quest 3 remaster did well. I'm really hopeful. It might be a little wishful thinking. Why don't you just go off next, Marcus?
I say 80. 80 for me. I think
80?
that...
oh my God, 80, I'm in trouble.
Yeah. I was going to say 80 too. Because I always got the impression that they did Dragon Quest 3. That was where they put all the thing. They're like, let's just do this kind of.
You might be right.
Might as well do this as a smaller game. So I'll say 81.
Nice. Next up is Arc Raiders. And Marcus, you're going to kick us off on this one.
These multiplayer games. At least I've been consistent, John. I've said that if you're going to pick a multiplayer game this year, Arc Raiders is probably the one. So I'm going to say 84.
And what do you say?
Is this the one that's from like the finals?
Yes.
Okay? So that game is like my arch nemesis because it came out like at the Game Awards that year, and I lost the season because this game came out. I thought for sure it was going to get delayed. So, but I still think it's like I remember Leo on MinMax was talking about it up, and he liked it a lot. So I would say like an 80, 81. Let's go 81 again.
All right, I'm going to go in the opposite direction. I'm going to go over Marcus. I think people are really hyped to have a game that is not, your standard shooter. And from all the hype around it, I think people are probably going to want to reward it. I'm going to say 87. And I think that is, again, wishful thinking. But yeah, I don't know. There's something about this game. Next up, Hyrule Warriors, Age of Imprisonment. Dan, you're going to kick us off with this one.
I think I've done 81 twice in a row now. Do I
do
dare
three?
do a third time? I'm gonna do 81 again.
Nice.
The Switch 2 performance will boost it a little bit. There won't be any.
Yeah.
I think that's been the issue with the other Hyrule Warriors games is performance. Is people like these games, I guess, and sure, 81.
I'm going to go over you again. I'm going to say 83. I think this is. I agree with you. I think the Switch 2 is going to boost performance, and I think just the hype, which is surprising to me because I actually don't like these games that much. I think they get a bit samey and repetitive, but just the narrative around this game has just been so much. Like people are just clamoring for it. So I think that's going to play into it a little bit. Marcus, what about you?
Well, I'm going to go the other direction, and this is probably my anti-Nintendo biases, but I'm going to go 79.
All right. Okay, this is going to be an interesting one. Luminez Arise, another game that has the fate of my fantasy critic in its hands because I need it not to do so well. But I think we all know that that's not going to happen. So if I'm kicking us off and setting a line for us to think about, probably going to say 88 is probably
That's
the
exactly
line.
what I was going to say. Yep.
Yeah.
Me too.
We all say 88. Marcus, what do you think?
Well, let's take the over.
Okay.
I'd rather take the over because I just think that this game is really poised to do well. So I'll give you even some daylight. Let's go 90.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dan, what about you?
That'd be nice for our shared league there, Marcus. The 90 would be
Yeah,
serve me
exactly.
well.
Yeah.
I'll say 87. Just
Go below.
I don't know. Like it should. I don't remember what Tetris Effect got. That must have been like 89 or something like that.
I think it was quite high. I think it was like 89. Yeah, something like that.
So that's probably the safer bet. But I'll just go lower. I don't know if Luminous is as popular as Tetris. So
next up, Call of Duty Black Ops 7, and Marcus, you get to do the honors with this multiplayer game, and you get to kick us off
again. Yeah. I feel like I don't play these games at all. I don't play multiplayer games. So, but I feel like the narrative, the zeitgeist piece that we often talk about is not super hot around this game. Maybe. So I don't know. 78.
It seems like a good guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. That's the right. Like I was going to say the same thing. Like the vibes seem off. I don't play these games either. So sometimes there's just the narrative that develops over the course of the year. It's like, oh, this is. Like same thing with like Suicide Squad or those kind of just kind of like, okay, that's going to be bad no matter what, even if it actually is not that bad. It's like, no, this is going to be bad no matter what. I would say this is going to be on the lower end, like maybe like 70, 75 maybe. I think it is the same. I don't really know about enough about their development, but like it's the same developer as the last year's one that did well. And usually I thought they did like 3-year cycles or something like that. So is this like basically just like a continuation of the last year's one? Or will people be like, no, you're just like, it's an extra content. It's not a full game. So I think there could be some controversy. I don't know what it is yet, but 75, that's my guess.
Okay.
I'm going to continue this trend, and I don't think it's going to do very well. I think people were confused by the trailer. I think they were upset that it closed out the Xbox show. I think they are looking for something different. I think that's why Battlefield is getting such a boost, and I think the narrative out there ain't great. Not to mention everything that's just gone on with Game Pass. So I am going to say 74. And we'll see. I think the range is a lot. It could be as high. It could go way higher than that, but I just am banking on all those things, all those pieces falling into place.
It's funny when you mentioned earlier in the podcast about like, does Fantasy Critic like change the way you play a game or look at games? It's like, when a game goes from 75 to 74 and it goes from that little purple little guy on OpenCritic to that little teal color, like, this is terrible. It's only 1 point, but you're like, this is
Yeah.
terrible game.
Well, next up is Demon School. Dan, you mentioned some of your reservations, and you get to kick us off on this one.
It could be a 0 just because it might not come out. I think I could see them doing a delay. Like they did this before when they I think they dated it in like June and they delayed it like a week before, and they've done it twice. So I don't actually think it's not going to come out. I think it'll come out. Let's say I'm still torn on this one.
Mhm.
Let's go 81, just because I want to keep 81s in here.
That's what I was going to say. All right, I will say 83. I think a low 80 is probably where this thing is going to land, but hard to say exactly where. Marcus, you're up next.
I kind of hope it looks cool. I kind of hope it is in that low 80 range. I fear it's more going to be in the high 70s. So I'm going to go 77.
I think that is a very viable option for this game, but we'll see. And last but not least, Kirby Air Riders, which will have some demo play on November 8th into that weekend, which is exciting, but not releasing till later that month. So people will be able to try it out actually before if it's still not picked up in your leagues. For me, I'm kicking us off. What did I say earlier? It looks good. I'm excited. All those things. I'm going to say 86, which is a very controversial take because I believe that is where Mario Kart World landed, if not a little lower. But I don't know. There's something that I saw today that just seems like there's a lot of passion in the game.
Well, what I know about this game is basically what you just told me earlier, an hour ago on the show.
Yeah.
So,
Me too.
83.
I was going to say that.
It's a very positive score for Marcus on a Nintendo unknown game. Dan, what about you?
Yeah, I think I'll have to go that as well. I just think the vibes have seemed positive with it. I don't know. So I think I was going to say 83, but maybe I'll go 84. Can I say that? What did you say, John? You said 86.
86. Yeah. All right.
Let's say 84. I'm convinced.
Very cool. Well, we'll see if any of us are right. It's always a bit of a crapshoot. And before we finish off the program this month, we did do a call out for questions. We did get one interesting question from Blueberry Keith on Blue Sky. Thank you again. He writes, "Hey guys, with the season coming to an end, general question about the wrap up. He's fortunate. He says, I'm fortunate with the players in his league. We all work in the same office, which makes for good banter by the water cooler. There's a trophy that sits with whoever is leading the league at the time, which is probably displayed at their desk. They're also looking at adding an item of shame for who is at the bottom of the league for next season. And he's read elsewhere that some leagues punish whoever comes last with having to play the worst rated game of the year whilst everyone chips in to buy the winner game. My question is, do you have any official prizes or punishments in your leagues?" Really great question. I think that's a really fun one. I have some ideas. I don't know, Dan or Marcus, if you wanted to kick us off.
Well, I don't have anything, so I'm curious to hear both of your suggestions. All the fantasy leagues, even sports leagues, I've played decades at this point of fantasy sports. I've never been. It's been like friends from high school or friends from university, so we've never all been in the same community to be able to kind of like do these coordinated prizes at the end. Cash is really the only winning prize we've ever had for any of our leagues. So no, I love this idea though of buying the loser of the league the worst game of the year or something like that. That's fantastic.
I have in my main league we do everyone chips in $10 and then the winner has to you have to buy a game that you can't just put it in your RRSP or something like that. You gotta buy a game or something like that. And then I have heard of we've suggested maybe playing the worst game on your roster or something like that, or worst game in the league. And then in Super League we have the promotion relegation, so you have to get lowered a division or promoted to a division. That's the main incentive, and that incentive is strong when you're playing with the same people every year, and you don't want to miss out. So it's good.
Yeah, I think the promotion relegation is amazing. If you can have that Champions League setup, that's so fascinating. For me, Not too much. I mean, I'll pick out a couple examples. So, in one of my leagues, it is for cash money, and that is incentive enough for everyone to be paying attention over the course of the year, which is great. And I've been fortunate to do well there, which has been fun. Um, Although Lumina's Arise is probably going to do me in this year, so whatever. Uh, in the Carpool League where we had Sean, I know that last year we did an end of year wrap up, which is not really like a thing, like an item or anything, but it was fun to kind of just get together and like have the top people from all the different conferences and just having like a session that wasn't as stressful as the draft, where you are super concentrated trying to like do your
Mm-hmm.
research and pick games, but just like a celebration of the year. That's always a fun exercise. And then just two other examples pulling from fantasy sports. In our fantasy football league with some friends of mine that I've been friends with for many, many decades, we have a championship belt. So,
Oh
if
yes,
you're looking
nice.
for ideas, a nice
Mm-hmm.
WWE style championship belt is always very flashy in place of a trophy that someone can wear. A little accoutrement. And then the other punishment in that league, which probably would work in the fantasy critic realm, is that is a keeper league. That is a league where it's been the same people for over a decade now, and we've all had our whatever the equivalent of a publisher title is, our team name. And the last place player for the entirety of the next season has to incorporate the word turd into their name somewhere. So
Sweet.
whatever your ongoing publisher name is, it doesn't change year to year. They have to incorporate turd into it. So creates for some makes for some very creative titling, and they just wear it for the year, and then they can switch back at the end of the next year, so long as
That's
they're not
awesome.
last. So that's an easy way. But let me just say, we also are trying to encourage more people to play Fantasy Critics. So, punishing the person in the basement, maybe it's good incentive to continue to pay attention even when you don't have any shot at winning, but also might be a disincentive from participating. So, use that cautiously, I guess, as a device. But yeah, fun question. I really like that question because it's really
That's why it works in Super League as well, because like you don't want to you at the bottom of the table you're still participating in the year because you're like I don't want to come last, I
exactly.
don't want to, so that's good, and then it's a little less harsh, and but changing your name isn't too bad. Actually, I forgot we the winner of my main league gets to change the title of the league
Oh,
every year,
That's not
so it's
bad.
just like a
That's
it's not
interesting.
too harm.
I like that. I like
That's
that a
one of
lot.
the
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's going to do it for us. I mean, that was great. Thank you so much, Dan, for joining us today. This was Hype Factor episode 13. Just kind of a note for everyone listening out there. We probably only have a couple episodes left in this season. Marcus and I are planning out what that's going to look like, including a look ahead to 2026. And thank you for so much for everybody that's been listening. You may have noticed that we also do a number of timestamps throughout the episode to make sure that you can find the parts of the episode that might be of relevance and use to you. So if you've listened to us, and liked what you've heard, continue to consider giving us a positive 5-star review on your podcast player of choice. It's always much appreciated, and we appreciate all of the engagement also in comments through Blue Sky and other places. So we're going to continue doing this and hopefully meeting the community's needs and their questions and helping them out as they engage into and start thinking about their 2026 season. Dan, thank you for joining us today again for not only the deep dive, but also sticking around for the episode and chatting games with us. If people wanted to engage with you, where could they find you?
Yeah, my name is Dan from Canada in most places, so I'm usually in the Fantasy Critic Discord. That's where I'm at all the time, so you can find me there. I'm on Blue Sky. I think that's my name on I think I'm positive. I don't tweet or whatever the Blue Sky post equivalent name is, and very often, but I'm there. And I'm also on Backlogged, which I really like that. If you guys are using that, it's a great site to see what you're playing and that kind of thing. So I think I'm the same name there as well. But yeah, thanks for having me. This was great. It was a lot of fun to chat with you guys.
And you did great on your first podcast ever.
Ah, thank you. Yeah,
All right, Marcus, where
yeah,
could
you're a
everybody
pro.
find
You're
you?
a pro.
yeah.
Um, yeah, so you can find me on Blue Sky at Marcus O'Neill 79. I also do another show with my good friend Michael called Tiny Game Chronicles, where we every other week we discuss a short game that takes about 5 hours or less to play. And yeah, if that sounds interesting, we'd be happy to have you check it out.
And as for me, I'm John32 on Blue Sky and in various Discords, including the Fantasy Critic Discord. So please feel free to engage questions. I'm also going to do a quick shout out. Extra Life is coming up, probably supporting the Carpool Gaming folks over with their efforts. I may post also about where people can donate through my Blue Sky, so keep an eye out for that. But yeah, that's going to do it for us. I should mention, if you have questions for the show, just like Blueberry Keith, and you want to hear our thoughts on any particular game or league structure, you can engage with Hype Factor on Blue Sky or X at Hype Factor. Happy to incorporate in the show. It's always welcome and always much appreciated. But that's going to do it for us. Until next time, go check out that Fantasy Critic Discord and get hyped.
Remember, the information provided is for entertainment purposes only. Hype Factor does not guarantee the accuracy, completeness, or reliability of any advice or predictions offered. By listening to this podcast, you acknowledge that you are solely responsible for any decisions you make based on the information provided. We strongly encourage you to fantasy critic responsibly. And remember, this is just a game, and in no way impacts your status as a gamer. Hype Factor cannot be held responsible for any damages resulting from bad picks, drops, or overall Fs on your season.